Hello and welcome to Disney with the Ducks. I am your host for tonight, Lonnie G, and I am joined by a special group of friends tonight. But later on that, because I want to surprise you guys. But we do have some ducks here tonight. Of course, we have everyone's favorite. You usually tune in to see her, and that is Jody B. Jody B, how are you tonight?
Hi, friends. How are you?
And Gene's here too. Anyway, as we get started, guys, like I said, this is episode 181. We have some very, very special friends with us tonight. I'm sure you guys all know them because many of or all three of our listeners listen to their show as well. So we have the Rise and Run podcast joining us tonight. So excited to have them. I said I'm over here fanboying. I'm trying to take pictures of them all, screenshots, so I can kind of insert myself into their background some kind of way. But we have everyone here, so let's go around the horn. Bob, how are you, sir?
Good, Lonnie. Bob, I live in Tampa, Florida area, and it is great to be here. I like listening to the Ducks. Enjoy your podcast. Thanks for having us.
No, thank you, sir, for joining. I have many selfies. I guess, do we call them selfies, Bob? If me and you together, maybe we call them ussies. Along many races.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, absolutely. We've been together at a bunch of runs, Lonnie. That's great.
Yeah. We also have, I'm trying to go around the horn here. Greg, how are you, sir?
Quack, quack, quack. Very excited to be here. I haven't seen Jody's lovely face since her and I sailed on the Disney Wish during the Be Our Guest podcast cruise from a couple of years ago. And I'm just really, really excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us, sir. We also have Jack. Jack, how are you tonight?
I'm wonderful. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, no, we're excited. We're the fortunate ones. We also have John. John, how are you, sir?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Gotta get your signature. How you doing? I appreciate it.
How you doing?
Yeah.
That's my catchphrase.
Yeah.
Besides,
so
I greet everybody that way.
You do? Everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be a Jersey thing.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy. I actually, I spent 6 months in Jersey. I was searching for you. I couldn't find you, but it's a wonderful
Go by Giant
place
Stadium. Go by Giant Stadium.
It's funny you mentioned that because Gene and I actually went out to Giant Stadium to see Dallas and the Giants play. He came into town. I tried to avoid him, but couldn't. But yeah, so we should have. That's where we should have looked, Gene, over there.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and let's see, who else do we have on board here?
Alicia.
Alicia, there we go, Alicia.
Right there in the center.
Boom, there you go. My screen is. I'm trying to see where everybody is on here. So, Alicia, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
No, thank you for being here. So, like I said, this is episode 181. We have our friends from the Rise and Run podcast here. Hey, guys, if you like what you hear, we covet your reviews. So please feel free to hop on to give us a review. Let us know how we can get better. If you have any complaints, please forward them to Gene. 10 to 1, they're probably because of him. So he might as well just deal with them. What is it? Gene at complaints.com, I think was the last one we had for him. So send it to Gene. He's good. He'll take care of everything. So, guys, we are talking about Disney 2025-2026 season. That's kicking off. But, as Jody and I were kind of talking about the show, you guys had a great milestone, which was your 200th episode. It was awesome. Loved it. Changed the theme music. It was big. It was bold. It was awesome. So Jody and I was kind of talking about it and just saying, you know what? How did this group get started? Right now, we know because we kind of hear the shows, but if you guys want to go around and kind of share how you guys got started, came up with the name Rise and Run, and just kind of put this great group together. So, Bob, I think we'll start with you over here.
A lovely lady.
Let me try and tackle this one and kick it off, Lonnie, if that's okay.
Yes.
Golly. We go back coming up on 4 years now, and I'm training, and I love listening to podcasts when I train. And I tend to listen to, as most podcasts are, spoken word. I don't typically listen to music. And I wanted to listen to things about Run Disney. I'm new to Run Disney, although at that time I'd been in it, I guess, about 5 years. And I just wanted to, I could find a lot of running podcasts and I could find a lot of Disney podcasts, but couldn't find any Run Disney podcast. So a couple of things happened that led me to the decision to let's do this. We had a pretty good going Facebook group that Alicia had started. Mm-hmm. Alicia started a group called Run Disney Motivational Team, and we probably had about 1,500 people in there. Mm-hmm. We were getting to know one another, and we'd meet up at runs. And we started doing Zoom calls once a week or every other week with that Facebook group. So we started getting to know one another. Fast forward a little bit. I'll let the others, I don't want to take everything up there. I'll let the others know tell you how we met one another. But what eventually happened is after doing those Zooms for a while, listening to other podcasts, doing Zooms with the customized training group, I said, it won't take much to go from a Zoom to a podcast. I know, doing more or less the same thing. So in October 22nd, my wedding anniversary of 2021, we kicked this thing off. And I'm going to say the rest is history, although it's history that surprised us. But that's how it got started. Now I'm going to let the others chime in here and tell you how they remember getting it going and how we got to know one another.
All right, Alicia, because it was your Facebook group, I'm going to turn to you. Why did you start the Facebook group? Like, what you were just like, oh, I'm just going to, because those could be a lot to manage.
It can. Honestly, when I first started it, I was in some other Run Disney groups and they were pretty negative. You would ask a question and you would get a lot of not nice feedback. And I just really wanted somewhere where people could come and ask questions and not feel poorly for asking them. And so I was excited when I got my first couple of people. And actually, Bob was one of the very first people in that group. Right. And that's how we met. But that's originally why I started the group. I just wanted an uplifting place. And for the first year, maybe 2 years, I would post motivational quotes every single day. But that got to be a lot. And then I spinned off of that and then created the first timer group, which is for marathoners, dopey participants, and goofy participants. And that is actually where all of us, the rest of us, met one another, was from those Zoom calls.
Well, those groups are still out there, by the way. Those Facebook groups are still active.
That's great. All right. So, John, when did you get thrown into this mix? So we've got Florida and Minnesota, and now let's go to Jersey. How did you get thrown in here?
So I got involved in Run Disney in 2019, and I decided I wanted to do more races, and I was going to do dopey. And so I decided, let me join the first timers dopey group that Alicia had. So then we got on the Zoom calls, and that every other week, every week, whatever it was, we like I said, we got to meet each other and we got to know each other that way. That's how I got involved with this group. And then Bob goes, I got this great idea. Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, that sounds great. Let's give it a spin someday. And then the rest, as Bob said, it's history.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we've got 2 more to go. Jack, you want to tell us your origin story?
I mean, I don't know if mine's anything cool or anything like Alicia's and Bob's and John's and Greg's. I just simply so I started doing Run Disney in 2018. Princess 2018 was my first one. Lexi asked me if I wanted to do a half marathon at Disney. Haven't ran since high school. Said sure. And that's how it started. Yeah. And I remember signing up for Dopey 2021 before it got canceled. And I was a part of Alicia's group. Yeah.
Yep.
Lexi had told me about the group, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, because I don't know anybody. This will be fun to get to know everybody. And then I went to the Zoom meetings, and that's how I got to know everybody.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Yeah, Jean can tell you a little bit about being, doing a race and being told like, hey, come do a race. That's how Jean got involved too.
I didn't even know what it was. I was just like, hey, Lions, it's like, hey, why don't you come with me into this thing? I mean, I didn't know. I didn't train. I was wearing flip-flops. I didn't know anything.
It's okay. Like literally my first half marathon, I think I only trained up to 8.5 miles.
Plenty.
And I remember when we registered for Princess Half, I didn't quite understand that she's like, yeah, you have to be fast about it because it just goes. And I was like, what do you mean it just goes? It's registration. And she and I celebrated so big once we got in because we're like, oh my God, we did it. And I didn't realize how much harder it would be to register for all the Run Disney races, but it gets to be an addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Princess was the OG one that would fill up. So I get the excitement.
All right. Last but not least, Greg, sir.
So my story starts in a bathroom.
Oh,
Well, it's bathroom adjacent.
So this was the summer of 2016, and I had signed up for my first ever Run Disney race. I had been running for maybe about 2.5 years at that point, and I was very excited because Wine and Dine 2016 was going to be my first run ever. And that was back in the olden days when Run Disney used to sell shirts that said, I'm training for blah, 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 blah. So I bought one because I was really excited. I signed up for my first Run Disney race. It said, I'm training for the 2016 Wine and Dine Half Marathon weekend. And it, by the way, it was one of those really good champion shirts, by the way, that still hold up to this day. So Run Disney, if you're listening, from the back, even though, that sponsorship is books now. But anyway, I digress. And my college roommate invites me to join him for the Phil's Tavern quarter of a marathon in Ambler, Pennsylvania. And the reason why I wanted to do it is Ambler is the site of a satellite campus for my alma mater of Temple University. And we're both alums of Temple, so we decided to go and do this race. And I have to, as we like to say on the podcast, visit Corral P before the race. And I'm wearing this shirt, and I'm down in the locker room. And I pass by this rather tall gentleman, and he just looks me dead in the eye, and he goes, "I'll see you there." And I looked, and I was like, "Oh, my shirt." I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm thinking, I'm never going to see this man again for the rest of my life. I run the race, and I'm a back of the packer, and I'm waiting. I'm expecting that when I cross the finish line, that my roommate is going to be there because he's a heck of a lot faster than I am. No, he wasn't there. Bob was there. Bob was purposefully waiting at the finish line for me because he was so excited about him running his first Run Disney race. And we chatted for about 45 minutes, and then he invited me into not only Alicia's Facebook group, but another Facebook group, the Run Disney Beyond group that was started up by a now mutual friend of ours. So that's how I got into the social media aspect of Run Disney. And then, again, like everyone else was saying, just started showing up to those Zoom calls. And then I think when Bob got this idea and found out that I was an editor full time, he's like, "Ooh, free labor. I'm going to ask that guy to be part of it." And the rest was history.
Truth is, I didn't really know.
I know. I just like teasing
I knew
you about it.
Well, that's fine. I knew you had something to do, but I didn't realize that this was just about exactly what you do for a living. So that was great. And we have John, our website manager. That was good fortune. So we just got the right people. Some of it was just kismet. We got lucky.
So when did you all actually meet face to face? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it varies. I remember the first time I met Alicia face to face.
Mm-hmm.
I love to tell this story. She doesn't for some reason. But...
No, I love this story. It's just funny because unless people see us, they don't really understand the height difference. But you can tell the story.
2016 Wine and Dine, which, by the way, was the first race for many of us. Alicia and I, we really knew each other pretty well by now, just from social media. And I get to the expo, and I still have it, I haven't worn it for a while, a bright yellow baseball cap that we call the Beacon. So I send Alicia a text message, and I say, I'm at the expo. I'm wearing a bright yellow ball cap. And by the way, I'm 6 feet 5 inches tall. Alicia texts back, OMG, you are nearly 2 feet taller than I am.
Which is
Not
true.
quite.
Not quite. I'm 4'11". So
Alicia, I appreciate a vertically challenged person. Like I'm on that same team as you, so I completely understand.
But that was, and yeah, we would have, at that time, it was still the Facebook group. We had a meetup. I remember we had a meetup. We sat around a table. There were, 7 of us, Alicia? Maybe 6, maybe 7. Yeah. Things have changed there too. Greg was at that run.
Yes, but I only saw you that weekend. I actually, for some reason, even though I knew of Alicia, I never bumped into you. So yeah. And Lexi was at that race too.
Yeah,
right.
That was
I
Lexi's
had
first
no
race.
idea. Yeah.
It was most of our first race for Run Disney was
yeah,
Wine
and
and
that's
Dine 2016.
interesting. Yeah,
I think I'm the only one that wasn't.
This is our 10th year.
Yeah.
You know that, guys. This is
Happy
our 10th year
anniversary.
anniversary season. But Greg, and I had met Greg. He already told that story. But we're waiting for the race to start. Now, this was the last race, I think, or last race weekend that started at ESPN. And so I'm texting, I'm looking for friends, and Greg tells me where he is, and he's way on the other side. But he's got this lime green Mike Wazowski outfit on. I'm going, oh, that's not very close to where. Oh, I see you.
So 10 years coming up for all of you knowing each other. What's the anniversary?
No, not knowing each other.
Yeah, not really. For Alicia, Greg, and me, yes. And if Lexi was at that race, and I'm sure she was.
Yes, she was.
I don't remember meeting her there. I met Lexi and Jack.
Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. And wasn't that during COVID when there was a canceled race?
Yeah. It was for my birthday. Because I remember we had gone, it was around my birthday, and we wanted to meet you. And it was already 6 months into having started the podcast already. We just haven't met. And you had your and that's how we found you.
I thought it was all right. And then and John was a race weekend thing too, I'm pretty sure.
It was a canceled race weekend.
Canceled marathon weekend. Yep.
Yeah, I met Bob earlier that week in Hollywood Studios. I met Greg for the first time on the inaugural and one and only Skyliner 15K.
Oh yeah.
Bob, it was the 10K. It was the virtual, like Star Wars was supposed to happen. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember Star Wars.
Sounds right. Yeah.
I met Alicia. I met Alicia in the crowd for Marathon Weekend 2022, and I met and Lexi also, and I met Jack in the parking lot of Epcot running the half marathon. She was cheering for us.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Never know strangers from the internet meeting in a parking lot. I mean, it sounds like a great murder podcast.
Yeah. A lot of Dateline start just that way. Meet me at night.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? Our kids learn from us. I just had this realization. I dropped my daughter off at college to room with somebody she met on the internet.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that's not a surprise at all anymore.
Yeah.
And
Listen, I met my wife on the internet, so I mean it's It happens, and sometimes it works out.
That's how I met Lexi, and she was we did a roommate survey for the Disney College program. That's how we met, was Facebook.
Really?
Social media
That's
gets a
cool.
bad rap, but by golly, there's some awfully good things that come out of it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
I would like to say I met Gene on the internet, but I did not. So there you go. But I like to throw that speculation out there, let people kind of
All right.
devise it for themselves. So 200 episodes, right? Over 200 now.
Yeah.
What is your proudest moment? And Aisha, I'm gonna ask you, since I didn't see you the first time, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What is your proudest moment in those 200 episodes?
There's a lot of things that I'm proud of with doing the podcast. I guess my proudest moment is every time that I get to see our friends that haven't done a race before find a community and get to complete it with friends. I love seeing that.
Yeah.
That makes me really proud.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In a similar vein, I would say it's twofold for me. One is similar to what Alicia was saying, is when we have our meetups down at Disney Springs, that it's that brief moment where we're all gathered for a photo. And it's not necessarily just about the number of people there or the size of the photo. It's just a reminder, and it's a representation of, similar to what Bob was just saying about, social media, not getting as much positive praise as it can. And the fact that our voices help bring this community together, and to just have friendship and fellowship and and camaraderie with one another, and a support factor and a cheerleading squad. To be able to just see that in a snapshot is really awesome. But then on a more granular level, just having those individual conversations with people, whether that's at the expo or waiting in the corrals or on the course, I've had a few instances where people have come up to me and personally, thanked me for the podcast or something specifically I've said on the podcast, thank you for helping me get through this long run. And while I'm extremely appreciative of those comments, and I know all of my co-hosts here will say the exact same thing, is that while we're appreciative of those comments, we always have to remind that listener that, well, no, you got yourself through that run. We were just there as entertainment, so that the monkey brain, as Jeff Galloway likes to say, doesn't take over during the course of that run. We were just along for the journey. You were the one that completed the mission. But just having those moments just is always my absolute favorite part of a Run Disney Race weekend, even more so than myself crossing the finish line.
Let me pick up, Lonnie. People ask us if we're surprised. Now, I want to get back to the podcast specifically here in a second, because that's the question you asked. But folks asked us if we ever saw what was going to happen, if we could have ever envisioned what was going to happen with the podcast. And the answer always is no. And the thing that we really didn't see was the way that the group would come together as one giant running family. And that is the thing I am most proud of. When it comes to the podcast, I was trying to think of a good answer. I just sent a note to a future guest, and I said, we have a history of inviting people for interviews who come as guests and leave as friends. And we really enjoy that. And we've had a bunch of them. One thing that especially tickles me, it's just it's almost a throw-in idea. But this idea of every week taking somebody or some small group who has done a race that week and putting them into the race report spotlight for 5 or 10 minutes and letting them tell us their story. And I get the biggest kick out of that. I enjoy that so much. And one of the things I enjoy so much about it is the reaction I get when I ask people, hey, you want to join us? And yeah, it's a lot of fun. But the overall community and spirit, I think all of us are going to say, that's the thing that we're proudest of.
Bob, I would also like to complain about the race report spotlight because it's made my wish list of races that I want to attend
Yeah.
a lot longer.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a little bit older, and the list keeps getting longer. And I'm like, this math isn't math.
Yeah.
It should be. So every time you guys show a different race or whatever it may be, I'm like, oh, that one sounds really cool. I think I want to do that. Well, that sounds really cool. I think I want to do that.
Yeah.
And the problem is, I'm not so sure how much, longer I'll be able to get to do all these things.
Oh, Jody, don't even. You've got plenty of time. I get a kick out of when you kids start telling me you're getting too old for this. You've got plenty of time. Well, like this week, and it'll be tomorrow we record it, we got friends from the West Coast joining us. They're going to show up at 4 p.m. their time to record with us. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right.
It is.
Jack, what about you? Proudest moment?
I mean, I can't say it as eloquently as like Alicia, Greg, and Bob. But I guess to add on top of everything that they're saying, because I 1000% agree, is I love when I am cheering around mile 12, especially for like the half marathons and stuff, and just people coming up, and I love giving hugs. I don't care how sweaty you are. I want your hug because they're so excited. I'm so excited to cheer for them, to let them know that the finish line is right there. And then to see in their eyes that they just did something that's absolutely crazy. I think that's really special.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, Gene does. I'm going to tell him he does a great job of doing that. Like when we were running marathons, he will just cheer everybody on. He's like the biggest cheerleader. I always say he hasn't met a person he's not friends with. So he does that a lot, and it's one thing that I think makes him so special. Don't tell him I said that, but yeah.
That's mighty kind of you say, but I can really identify with y'all talking about like celebrating through others. Like the thing that is the most motivating to me when I'm running a race is when you see somebody that looks like they could use a kind word,
Mm-hmm.
And while I've had, and Lonnie and Jody, all of us have had people thank us for the encouragement. Really, it's a little selfish because it benefits me so much more than it benefits them. But
isn't that the truth, Gene? Yeah,
it really is. That's something that I knew that was one of my favorite things about the races. But the last marathon I ran really solidified for me. That's the thing. That is the most important thing. That's the thing I really get out of it is just seeing somebody else do something that they were either maybe they knew they could do it or they'd done it before, but they were stuck. They were in a bad place, or they just needed a kind word, or it was just a lull. I mean, it doesn't have to be the end of the world, but it could just be a lull. And I get a lot out of it. I really enjoy that.
Right.
And then crossing the finish line and seeing a great big, just for lack of a different kind of person, a great big dude just burst out crying, when they cross the finish line. And I'm a big baby. I'm going to cry too, so I love it. Nothing like it.
I'm not laughing at you, my friend. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah.
Main Street USA. Don't try talking to me. Don't try. Okay.
Yeah. For the historical record for Gene's first marathon, he did burst out crying. I looked at him. I said, "You okay, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, oh yeah, man. Like stuck in my eye, both eyes. So much dust out here." Is that?
That's only because my wife asked for pictures with medals, and my wife, who is not, she didn't use her words like that much, and she put this post on Facebook, just how proud she was. It was just and I'm sitting in the bus, just trying to keep to myself, just lightly sobbing, let's say.
I mean, for what it's
Lonnie's
worth,
like, "Are you all right, man?" Yeah, I'm fine. Shut up.
I don't know of any other running events that do that have that impact on the runner. There may be. I mean, someone finishing their first marathon, regardless of where it is, may be, but it's very prevalent at Disney.
It is.
There's no crying in marathons.
No, it just happens the moment you cross the finish line, and then it's the one step out, and then you start crying.
World
Or a
Showcase.
couple times during.
Mile 1.
It's funny that we're talking about this, but I had a guy that when I was several years ago gave a speech. We were doing Toastmasters. He gave a speech about training for marathon, and a coach had them prepare like physically, obviously, but also spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And he talked about this. And during my first marathon, we were running with somebody who had run a marathon before. And I asked that question at some point. I'm like, I don't get the emotion thing. And I'm an emotional guy. I really don't get it. And she said, well, somebody told me that, once you cross the finish line, if you never take another step, if you're a paraplegic after that, you'll always be a marathoner after you cross that finish line. And I thought, oh, yeah, that's neat. Well, so then we're running, and somebody had a sign that said, something like, in 2 miles, you'll be a marathoner. And that's when it hit me, like right between the eyes. That's when it got emotional for me.
Understood.
And I think, John, we didn't get your proudest moment.
How do we not go with the community that we built here? I mean, that's the proudest moment. I mean, we talk about our meetups, which we think is incredible, where we don't even have to be there and I think everyone's having a great time. Like example, none of us are going to be at Halloween in Disneyland, and there's going to be a meetup without us. All the Rise and Runners. We have people that met through the Facebook group and through the meetups, and they're going on vacations together now.
You have amazing. Lonnie's daughter who was on the Delta flight, who saw the guy on the plane, and I think it was.
Isn't that cool? Yeah,
it was Lonnie's own daughter. It was
that was really cool. I'm about to see 8 or 10 of our friends at Disney World this weekend because they're all going to be there. So I'm heading over.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
It's
hard to explain to people outside of this community what this community means.
Yeah.
When you say, I'm part of this running group that's virtual and there's all these people all over the world and we all love Disney and we all love running, and they're like, that's great, but how close of friends could you be? If Jean's really good at this, if there's more than a week that goes by that we haven't actually talked, he just picks up the phone and calls. How you doing? What's going on? That's 5 years ago, I didn't have Jean as a friend, and now I can't imagine these guys. So it's absolutely amazing what Run Disney can do.
Yep, sure,
100%.
Well, look. So now let's put a bow on the past season, right? So last 2024-2025 season for Run Disney. You guys did a lot of miles. I ran into a bunch of you guys a lot along the courses. But what was your favorite race weekend from the past Run Disney race season as we look forward to this year? So what was your favorite past race?
We all know John's answer, so let's let him go first.
Yeah.
John and Jean are going to say the same thing.
Wait, this year or ever?
Ever, right? Ever?
Oh,
ever?
Oh.
Or ever this year.
I said it last season, but we can go ever if you like.
Oh, I thought, Lonnie, you were saying ever.
We'll get that to later, but this season had to be marathon weekend. I mean, marathon weekend, I think, is probably just the best weekend that Disney puts out there. I mean, it's not just like, for me running the marathon, but seeing all our friends accomplishing their first marathon and seeing them cross the finish line is almost more rewarding than you crossing the finish line.
All right, so then we're going to follow up. What was your any season favorite race?
At Star Wars. What do you think? actually, my favorite race was my first marathon with Greg.
Oh,
making me blush over here.
You are my favorite host. You know that.
Oh, better be.
There we go. I got my hearts to work. There we go.
Yeah, Julie's the only one that can make that thing happen. None of us can't figure out how to make it happen. So,
what do you do?
Jean, we're gonna throw you on the bus. What was your favorite race this past season, and then ever, and why was it probably one that you ran with me?
This past season, I mean, marathon weekend for sure. But ever.
Ever.
Probably. I mean, it's just they're all so good and for different reasons, you know. The first one because it was my first Run Disney. That was fun. My first marathon because it's the first time I ever achieved that. But then when I met all of our crew, you know, with our podcast, there's just some special memories. Some mistaken identity sort of things. Some a lot of fun, a lot of laughing. You know, John running his first marathon, that race, you know, that was special. So that's probably my overall favorite one. But they're all special in their own way, you know.
And that's where, for those of you who don't know, if you haven't heard the story, that's where the whole DuckTales thing came from. So they were doing their cadence for their run walk, and instead of just going run walk, they would the person who was leading the cadence for run would go DuckTales, and all the guys would go. So that's how the whole you know. It's not like we just had this love of ducks, and that's where
that's not a bad thing.
I was behind you for like 3 miles during the half that year.
they did it for the entire marathon. So it's a lot of miles to yell out the whole DuckTales.
It is, yeah.
This is true. This is true. Jack, what about you? Past season and all time.
So I really want to say marathon weekend because I had so much fun running with everybody. So it's a close second, but for reasons why I love our community, I really enjoyed Princess this year as my favorite one because I got to pace it as a Galloway pacer. And my first experience Galloway pacing, which was the spring surprise the following year, there wasn't really that many people with us, so I didn't really get to have the experience of having like a group the entire time. We're having like, it was mostly me and my pacer by ourselves for most of it on the first one. So this time around I was in a pace group where there were a lot of people, and again around mile 12 it was like watching your little birdies fly, and because they want to stay with us, but we're like, no, you need to go. This is the last mile. You're supposed to finish way before us. And to hear some people say before they go, thank you so much for giving me my PR. Thank you for the experience. And it's so beautiful hearing all the stories, and it felt just so special that like to be there for somebody during their race. Because I'm not running for me, I'm running for you. I'm running to help, like to be with you, to help you crush your goals, and you're killing it. And it's so cool to see. So seeing that is kind of amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Aisha, what about you?
So for my favorite one of the season, I have to say marathon weekend, just because being as long as it is for the marathon, I get to see a lot of my clients as I go and get to see a lot of our friends. So I like it because the more and more I get to run, I get to see people and have those experiences. And overall, either my very first Run Disney race or my first marathon, because obviously both of those are huge milestones. So yeah.
Good deal. Greg, sir, what about you?
Thank you for letting me go later, because I really had to think about this one. For the past season, as much as I want to say, like everybody else, marathon weekend, I'm actually going to take mine to the Winding Nine Half Marathon this year, because the week prior to that race, I had a 23-mile training run. As I was training for the Philadelphia Marathon and then the Disney World Marathon as well. And I had the absolute worst run of my life ever. It was the first time in all the years of running, that I literally stopped in the middle of my run. I sat on the park bench. I sobbed and called my coach, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I was just in such a bad place mentally for reasons of my own doing, and why I did that to myself, I'll never know. But why it made Wine and Dine memorable for me is because during that race, we were maybe about halfway through, and our little group that I was running with, we picked up two folks who were really having a tough time. And this is what I love, not just Rise and Run, but just the Run Disney community in general is, you find these folks and you're like, no, you're coming with us. You're going to have fun. We're going to make you have fun, and you're going to have fun with us. And what was so special is over the course of those last couple of miles, we had learned that each one of these women were completing their first ever half marathons, not just Run Disney race, first halves ever. And I know one of the ladies asked, if we could just like walk for like a half a mile, and we said absolutely. And then she just, we all took turns being with these people one-on-one, to make sure, get their physical and mental check-ins. And I remember the one just like saying over and over to me, I'm sorry we're doing so much walking. I'm sure you have a goal that you want to hit. And I remember looking at one of them and I said, no, my goal for this race is to watch you cross that finish line. Right. So whatever we need to do, that's what we're doing. And to me, that was such the mental lift that I needed after having the worst training run of my life. To be able to do that just a week later really is what stands out to me from the past year. In terms of ever, mine will always, even though I've crossed 3 Disney World Marathon finish lines now, and they all hold a very special place in my heart, my favorite memory ever is the 2023 Springtime Surprise 10K. I had come off running my first Dopey, and while I was very proud of that moment, I went into some like weird funk after that, because I had realized that I didn't do what Brittany Charbonneau told me to do and told our community to do, and that was PR and fun while doing Dopey, because I was just so focused on the miles and getting to bed and make sure I was fueling properly and hydrating properly that I didn't nearly have as much fun as I should have. And boy, at that race, I turned it all around, and that's thanks to our 7th member of the team at Rise and Run, the beautiful Allie. I joined up with her and her crew, and we enjoyed that race, and I've never laughed so hard. And not to mention, what was really the cherry on top was the fact that they had 4-Town out from Turning Red, because that was the whole Pixar weekend. And we got to like just sing and dance with them because there was no line. It was glorious. Bob magically showed up out of nowhere and took our picture. And then I tried explaining to him why a group of 5 guys was called 4-Town. It was a beautiful thing. And it was in that moment that I learned how to PR and fun. And it's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, I struggled with the math on that one.
I know. It's okay, Bob.
It's that new math, Bob.
Yeah. You got to write it all out. That's that extended math now. It's just
I
crazy.
guess.
What about you, Bob? Favorite this past season, and then favorite all?
Well, marathon weekend's always special. This last year is my 5th Dopey. I've done 6 marathons, and the last couple I've pushed my buddy Woody in the wheelchair, so that's always special. But I'm gonna go a couple races over. For this last year, my favorite was the 5K at Springtime Surprise when I did it as Groot. That was a blast. I didn't used to do costumes. I didn't do them.
Lonnie loves costumes.
For the first half, I didn't do them. And Brittany and Jack pushed me into it. And now I found out secondhand that there are people out there who know me for my costumes and not for the podcast. And I think that's kind of funny. Yeah. I think my favorite all time, I really think I have to go back to 2016 Wine and Dine Half Marathon. I was, speaking of math, let me do some math. I was 62 years old. I hadn't run a half marathon in nearly 30 years. And I was just thrilled that I was able to do it. And I actually did all right. I was able to stop for some character photos. And that's the one that really got the whole thing started. That got me hooked. And that, I think that's probably my all-time favorite. And then, of course, any trip down Main Street is good. So there you go. There's an answer. I think I gave you about 7 different races. How's that?
Hey, I'll take
that new math, Bob.
There you go, John. Thank you.
Common Core, Matt.
Yeah.
Jody B, what about you?
This past season, I feel like I should say Tim and I had our 4 seconds of fame because we were on Run Disney Instagram account from the half marathon at Wine and Dine, dressed up in our chef costumes. But that was special. But really, what was really special about this past race weekend is, again, kind of story similar to everybody else, is we have a friend who's perfect, a dopey perfect, and he wanted to give up at mile 13. He was about 1.5 miles, 2 miles ahead of us at that point in time, and he texted us and he said, "I'm done." And we said, "Are you bleeding?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Is something broken?" And he said, "No." And I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I'm cold." And I said, "Well, stay there." He's a Southern boy. So we were like, "Stay where you are. We're coming to get you. Don't move." So he stayed in that tent and we caught up to him and we got the Mylar blankets and we swaddled him up. He didn't even know what the word swaddle was. I'm like, "Swaddle you up nice and tight, swaddle him all up like it was a mummy." And I said, "Just make it to the next character. And then let's try a character after that and try a character after that. Maybe let's make it to the next medical tent." And he finished the marathon with us.
Good.
And to think that he was about to give up on his dopey, perfect status.
Yeah.
He's ready to throw in the towels. My husband gave him his gloves, and he has framed his medal, and my husband's gloves are in his frame.
That's cool. That's
cool. That was pretty cool this past season.
Yeah, it is.
Overall, I would say one of my favorite was the return to running, the Wine and Dine 2021, because we were allowed to be back.
Right.
And that just felt so positive. I was just so ready to be back with people and back. I was willing. Look at all my vaccine cards. I'll wear 5 masks. I'll put hand sanitizer. I'll bathe in it. I just want to hear that 3, 2, 1 go again. And I just want to hear my people and feel that energy and that excitement. And so that was pretty special.
Yeah.
All right, Lonnie G, now I got to answer your own question.
For me, it has to be this past marathon weekend. And the reason why is because it's my daughter's first doping.
Oh, very good.
So, at mile, 25 and a half, she was doing cartwheels in front of the gospel choir.
And I caught you.
Like,
I mean,
what's going on with her?
Like,
whatever. Yeah. I'm like, she's delirious. Just let her go. But she was really excited and crossed the finish line and was just like, we'll be doing it again next year. And of course, I was done with dopey, so I wasn't going to do it anymore until she said she wanted to do it. And of course, I couldn't let her do her first one by herself. So I came out for that one. And then she registered for this one. And of course, my wife's like, "I thought you was finished again." And I was like, "Yeah, but she registered again. So I got to do it again." Which makes my all-time favorite. And it's going to go back to 2017 Paris 5K.
Because I'm so jealous.
Yeah, she does not run. And that was her first Disney race. And it's a night race. And I remember saying the whole time, because she doesn't run, I said, "Hey, we can walk the whole thing. It's at night, it'll be nice and cool." And it was. And when they said in French, I don't know the 3, 2, 1, it was something else they were saying, but stuff went off and she shot out like a cannon. And I had to kind of chase her. And the whole time she was running, I'm like, "Where did you get this from?" So that was my favorite one. There. And I asked Jody when she went over there to see when they're going to bring those races back, but apparently, who knows? So, but that was my favorite.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
For what it's worth, I said I'm done. I'm done with
sorry.
dopey, and I mean it. I'm done with dopey. Last
Really?
one was tough. Yeah,
me too.
Mm-hmm. Gene said, "What did you say, Gene?" You said, "Me too."
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Exactly. So, upcoming season, this is it, right? So, what races? I know you guys aren't participating in the Halloween racing. but you guys having a meetup, which shows that even though you're not there, your influence kind of lives on. But what races are you guys, or what weekends are you planning on participating on for this upcoming season?
Well, I have the advantage of living here in Florida. I'll be at all the race weekends, and I'm registered to run at all the race weekends. I'm not registered for all the races, but I can't remember which ones I'm not registered for. I know marathon weekend is just the 5K and the marathon. So I'm looking at the bookends. Boy, I love wine. Wine and Dine. It's like a family reunion.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I gave you 7 answers to the first one. I'm going to give you 1 answer to this one. I'm looking forward to Wine and Dine in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Hey, your anniversary, right? So awesome.
It is, in fact. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see that. I think our wedding anniversary, I think is 2 days before Expo Day, I think. And we will be at the parks.
That's fun.
Great way to bring an anniversary. That's awesome.
We'll wear the
Greg, what about you?
In terms of races I'm signed up for this particular season, I will be doing the half marathon during marathon weekend, and then just the 10-miler during Springtime Surprise. But the weekend I'm looking forward to the most actually is Springtime Surprise, because once we're done with that weekend, we then embark and set sail on the first ever Rise and Run cruise. And I remember when Bob floated this idea a couple of weeks after we obtained our sponsorship with the wonderful folks over at Magic Bound Travel. I was like, there's no way. Like, we're gonna convince enough people that get a group rate on a cruise ship. And we were just chatting with them the other week, and when they told us that they are, including us, that there's 99 people signed up for it, I nearly fell out of my chair. And great, we don't know how it's going to go. We're going to do our darndest to plan as many fun activities. But the fact that, you're going to go from an epic race weekend, just like how Bob says how Wine and Dine is the family reunion, I look at Springtime Surprise as like the last day of school.
Yeah.
Everyone's got an excitement and buzz, but yet a little bit of sadness behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that we're going to be able to continue that party for a week later on a cruise ship sailing to tropical islands just has me really, really excited.
Ducks are welcome on board, by the way.
Yes, all ducks are welcome.
Yeah, Greg and I had a long chat about this the other day. Man, I want to go so bad, but with two kids now in 2 different schools and 2 different spring breaks, I'm not sure I could go.
No, we know. We understand that. It's tough.
You can do it, Jody. There's 99 registered, but there's room for 1 more.
1 more?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Can you imagine if I just told my family, like, see, I'm just going out to the cruise by myself with the Rise and Run friends? Like, oh, that would be kind of funny, actually.
Yeah. But it shows the influence you guys had, the positive influence that you guys have in the community. Because to your point, social media is one of those things but anytime I tune into your site, and of course I follow you guys, everybody's always positive, always supporting each other. And that's what it's about. That's what it should be about, right? So, so it's awesome. Aisha, what about you? What are you planning on? What race weekends are you going to run this time?
So I'm perfect status for the 2-course challenge for Wine and Dine. So I'll be there for that. And then I'm doing the marathon for marathon weekend, and I'm doing the 10-miler for Springtime Surprise. And I think that I'm most excited for the marathon. It's my favorite distance. I hope this year goes better than last. And even though I'm from Minnesota, I hope it's not as cold, because that was rough last year.
How can a marathon be your favorite distance?
I love the challenge of it, to be honest. Like, I love pushing myself.
I love Everest.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
That's cool.
If I can just get to Everest, then I'm like, okay, just get to Everest. Then I get that like bolt of energy. So.
Yeah, there you go.
I always say that Disney does a wonderful job of, when you any other race, when you say a marathon, you'll be like, wow, that's awesome. And at Disney, when you say, oh, just a marathon, and you're like, wait, what?
Right.
I don't know how we did it. but some kind of way it's a brainwashing thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
You say, and Bob said, "Oh, I'm doing the 5K and a half," and I'm like, dude, that's still a bunch of miles, right? So yeah.
And I think I remember you saying on a previous podcast that you were perfect for wine and dine. That's pretty cool. So how many wine and dines have there been? I don't even know.
So I'm not like the whole wine and dine, just the 2-course challenge. So it started in 2016 for the 2-course challenge. So I've done every year since then. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And that's when they moved it from the night race to the challenge. Because at first it was kind of like the night, which it rained all the time.
Right.
Splashing, dashing, lightning. There was always something. So, but I do kind of like that he moved it up.
Yeah.
What about you, Jack?
Keeping it simple this year. Probably
you
shouldn't have said that.
Something else going on this year. Just a little
something.
Yeah. Well, I am running the marathon just a few days after my wedding for a marathon weekend. And then I am going to Disneyland for their last races for who knows how long. And I'm doing the 5K and 10K. And it's my mom's first time to Disneyland. We were talking about it this morning. We were so excited that we actually just added an extra day to our trip today.
Nice.
And I'm debating about Princess to pace again for the half marathon. I really do enjoy pacing for the Princess weekends. Not 100% sure about that because we don't usually know if we're going to be getting picked or anything until closer to the race. So yeah.
That's fun.
Dude, that's going to be fun. All right, John, what about you, sir?
So I'll be doing all the races for wine and dine weekend, 5, 10 and a half. I will be doing the 5K and just a marathon on marathon weekend, and only the 10 miler for springtime surprise. So those are my race weekends at Disneyland, Disney World this year.
John, you sound sad.
Yeah,
when you said that, you legitimately sounded sad. Do you want to do more?
Oh, I love to
There's
do more.
always room for more.
Jack, do you remember the number of people he had to sign up for Wine and Dine this year because of all the family coming with him? That's why he's probably sad.
So I'm looking forward for Wine and Dine this year because I will be running with my granddaughter for her first 5K.
That's right.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. So it could be very exciting, very stressful, or who knows? Because
it'll be fun.
Getting a child up at 2:00 in the morning.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah.
I know Greg has a lot of tips I'll be working on.
Yeah, my best tip: make sure the fire alarm goes off at midnight the night before the race. That really helps things.
Yeah.
And Gene, I'm looking at you. Gene, I'm looking at you. What races are you running this season? Don't disappoint me.
Oh. This is an audio podcast. Use your words.
I can see y'all, so somebody's watching it. But zero, no races.
So perfect season then.
Perfect season.
There you go.
Why are
very
you
good
the
on the
way
wallet
you are,
too, right?
Gene? Why are you the way you are?
Oh, these two.
Well, he could earn that. Remember years ago they made that T-shirt, the Sleepy
yeah.
Challenge T-shirt.
Yeah.
Gene can get one of those because he'll be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed while everyone's, trying to figure out where they are, what park they are, when they wake up at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, no. So, all jokes aside, I do enjoy the odd race, but all my expendable funds are going to. I got a daughter that started college on Wednesday, and
understood.
Wow,
understood. Yep.
Yeah, so got that going on.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
You could just be irresponsible like Tim and I are and still go. I wouldn't recommend it.
That's a thought.
I got to give it to Gene though. He's been strong this time. Usually, I'm able to, after 2 or 3 weeks, I'm able to kind of like weigh on him until he just decides, all right, I give up. I'll register. I'll find something to do. But this time, he's been pretty strong. I tell you, his peer pressure has not worked on him yet. But I'll work on him maybe for Wine and Dine.
Oh, I know you're not done.
Yeah. I'll pop up at your house. We'll do something. Well, good deal. That is awesome. So,
What about you, Lonnie G?
let's see. I
You got
am
a race.
doing.
You got a race coming up really, really soon.
Yeah. So I'm doing. I'm doing the Halloween half,
Good.
and so I'll be there. And then I'm doing Dopey, and then I'm doing the right now. Currently, I'm registered for the half in California, but I'm trying to get the 10K as well. So I do my own unofficial, the Dumble.
Yeah.
So that's the things I have registered now. I am considering Wine and Dine when it opens up, right? So so that's where I am right now. And if I don't know if I can get Gene to do something, I'll just sign up for another race. If he says, "Hey, I'll do springtime or whatever," I'll do that just to get him to do it. So we'll see. No, okay.
I think the 10 miler is still open.
I'm gonna give you the George Foreman guarantee. He will cross a Run Disney finish line sometime this year. Put it on a grill. So, well, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. I think now we're gonna transition to our favorite part of the show. Well, some say it's the favorite, and that is quacking up with the ducks.
Well, hold on a second, Lonnie. Did you warn anyone that they need to have a joke prepared?
Well, no, that's why you just throw them in the flames.
Yeah,
that's what
I
you
didn't.
do. Like,
I didn't tell Greg about this, so that's not. So I think I did not forewarn them about this. So if that was my fault for not giving them that heads up.
We're not gonna put anybody on the spot because we're not about that peer pressure, except by making Gene run. So that being said, one thing, guys, we have learned. Unfortunately, the hard way, and that is we had to get a legal fund for some things that were said on the show that previously, we shouldn't have said. So we also have to put our disclaimer out there. Gene, what did the lawyers say about tonight's show?
The lawyers aren't saying anything for the next 2 minutes because what I wrote it on my phone is locked up for the next 2 minutes. I've been trying to stall. I was hoping you're going to stall, but you're not. So.
Wait, we do have a stall because you didn't ask me what races I'm running this season, so I'm going to tell you. So there you go.
Man, what am I thinking? You're right, Gene. You got 2 minutes. Jody, what races are you running?
I'll see some of you at Wine and Dine. I'm doing the 2-course challenge.
Good.
So I will be there for the 10K and the half marathon. And then I will be there for Dopey, which is really exciting. And I love it so much. I'm sending my daughter back to college by herself. And so we're leaving to go to Florida, and I'll be like, see ya. And then she has a couple more days at home, and then she's getting on a plane all by herself to go back to college. So see, Gene, you're a good parent. I'm like, bye, kid. I'm going to run Dopey.
She'll be ready. She'll be good.
So anyway, yeah, I'll
I
get to see some people twice.
With your quack up thing, I can leave you with this if you'd like.
Oh, please
do.
Did you hear about the sale at the Lego store? People were lined up for blocks.
Good one.
Did you just Google that? You Googled that? Oh
no, I didn't. No. And what's unfortunate is I don't have my setup here where I can't hit the rim shot. If it was our show, I could hit a rim shot after that.
Well, I do have a joke for tonight, which I normally don't. So this is really, really impressive that I do. But I am going to tell it because it's the marriage of these two podcasts. So when do ducks usually wake up?
I don't know.
When they rise and run?
Oh, well, that's what it should be. But at the quack of dawn.
There you go. There you go.
I know. All right, Gene, did we stall enough?
We're getting close, but I will share share something with you before that. Everybody's favorite magical nanny, played by Julie Andrews. She used to endorse this lipstick. It was kind of a cheap lipstick, but she got really frustrated. It kind of crumbled really easily, and it gave her bad breath. And what she actually said was, this super color fragile lipstick gives me halitosis.
Oh my goodness.
We really do need the lawyers for that.
Yeah, we do.
Apologize for that one. All right, Gene.
Man, I'm telling you, the dang. Here we go.
You got alarms on,
Sorry,
Gene?
the
You got
lawyers.
everything.
I got serious problems tonight with technology, but luckily we have an editor that does wonders. You've just finished listening to episode 181 of Disney with the Ducks, where Lonnie, Jody, and Gene were joined by our friends from the Rise and Run podcast, Bob, Greg, Jack, John, and Alicius, to talk about the 2025 Run Disney race calendar and their background. If you are now experiencing uncontrollable urges to register for every race weekend, price check sparkle skirts, or calculate whether you can survive on nothing but Dole Whip and Gatorade for a week, don't worry, that's completely normal. Side effects of listening may include spontaneous training, plan modifications, late night costume debates, and crying just a little when the fireworks go off at mile 25. While Rise and Run has been creating amazing content for years, the Ducks accept no responsibility if you suddenly become loyal listeners to them as well. In fact, we recommend it. We just call it podcast cross-training. Additional warnings: always wash your hands before eating post-race popcorn to avoid repeating the great dopey sickness of 2023. Lonnie still hates running, Jody still makes the whole thing happen, and Gene continues to be the heart and soul and Crescent Lake hydration station of the podcast. Meanwhile, John and Jeff were not on the episode. John said he was busy training, which is code for falling asleep halfway through his long run. And Jeff probably got lost somewhere between a resort lounge chair and the refillable popcorn bucket line. To be clear, the only endurance event Jeff has committed to lately is seeing how many nap breaks he can squeeze into a Disney day. Your absence wasn't just noticeable, it actually improved the average quality of jokes by 63.5%. Do not replay this episode while carb loading, while operating a Mickey balloon, or while frantically refreshing Disney's website to secure a marathon weekend bid. Quacking up with the Ducks may cause eye rolls, groans, and minor dad joke-related injuries. Rise and Run is not responsible for missed PRs, missed photo ops, or missed dining reservations. If your laughter lasts more than 4 hours, consult Dr. Bob, or just go register for another race.
That's fantastic.
The lawyers, man. I mean, it's the reason why we have a fund. They come through. Thanks, Gene. And guys and ladies, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing your stories and joining us tonight. We do appreciate it. And like I said, guys, go out and listen to the Rise and Run podcast. Trust me, you will love it. Wealth of information. You'll get off motivated. Look, if it can motivate me to run, it got to be good. Right. So there you go. With that being said, good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
You.
Thanks, Doug.